Hello, 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 and welcome to PROG review. Yeah, I think we can get away with that. I think we can. I think we can get away with that. We're talking about David Sylvian's brilliant Trees from 25th of June 1984. His debut solo album. We've covered this before, many years ago, but then I think the videos got lost when I've rejigged the channel. So anyway, but we're going to do it again. We're going to do it again because it's September, and I think, didn't David Sylvian do a song about September? So it's good enough reason to do it all again. You won't mind a repeat, would you? It's not technically a repeat because this is, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it new, doing it fresh from the brain, as it were. Yeah. So this is the reissue that came in. Oh God, what year was it? They did a whole load of reissues back in the day. 2019, February 2019. They reissued them on vinyl with different artwork. But we'll do a show and tell later on. David Sylvian. Probably best known from Japan. Japan was his band before all of this, and he stepped away from Japan to embark on a solo career. Like I say, this is the debut. I never know. Sometimes I just never know what to say about David Sylvian's music because it's that kind of music that just kind of washes over you. You know, I'd call it, if I was being offhand, I'd call it dinner party music. It's the sort of thing that you could put on in the background and just let it, burble away. And when I listen to it, I drift off, and I mean in a good way. It's a good thing. I just drift off. I listen and I drift off, and I find it, it's a very odd music to listen to. Am I enjoying it? Well, no, it's like an ambient. Again, his music is quasi-ambient with the lyrical, with lyrics running through it. I think that's probably why I find it interesting. Find it interesting to listen to. The opening track is Pulling Punches, and it opens with that kind of juddery percussion track that is more familiar from. It's like I see that track as a transitionary moment from Japan to his solo career. And again, the themes of the album is about discovery, self-discovery, trying to find spirituality, find himself. That's what the whole album, the main theme of the album is, and Pulling Punches, the lyrics, point towards that. But yeah, you have this kind of rhythm track that wouldn't be amiss from Japan, like the latter Japan albums. So yeah, I always see that track as, like I say, he's stepping between one world and another. And then the album opens up, and I think again for me the main noise, the main timbre of the album is the trumpets of John Hassell and Mark Isham. They use those instruments in a very haunting way, and again the music slows down. It's almost a glacial kind of music. There's nothing here that's going to frighten you. There's nothing that's going to make you jump up and dance. It's a slow creep of, like I say, it's almost a fusion of ambient and pop. Ambient pop, yeah, I guess you could call it that. And with this album, you really do see him laying the foundation of what's to come. Again, the album that follows builds very heavily on this, and you get some great guest stars on here. Richard Barbieri from, again, Japan is on here. So Steve Jansen, his brother, doing drums, percussion. But like I said, we also have John Hassell, Mark Isham. Who else is there? Steve Nye is also on is on synthesizer, and he also co-produces the record. Olga Azuki is also on French horn, and this marks his collaboration period with Sylvian. And of course, Ryuichi Sakamoto is evident on here, along with Danny Thompson. Who appears on double bass on the second track too. So yeah, like I say, there's trumpet, there's French horn, Kenny Wheeler on flugelhorn. Those instruments very much, loom over the whole proceedings. Now again, this was 1984. Now again, you'd expect there to be more synthesizer, but Sylvian, it goes for this. Again, it's a brass. It's like a brass sound to his album, which is really curious. It's again, that's what gives this kind. Again, it veers into jazz, ambient pop, jazz pop. It's hard to categorise it, and then you pair it up with Sylvian's voice, which sounds him veering between Bowie and Ferry, and I always wonder with Sylvian whether or not he was, deliberately, trying to sound like Bowie and Ferry, or whether that was a natural thing, whether it was an affectation. It always, left me curious. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting beginning. Like I say, it kind of sets all the groundwork for the albums to come. And again, he doesn't really kind of move away. If you listen to this and you listen to, I suppose, his last album that was vaguely like This Is Dead Bees on a Cake, they still have those kind of elements. Again, he doesn't really change the sound palette. He has that same sort of space, that sense of space in his records all the time. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's a stylistic thing. You can hear it, that's the Sylvian sound, as it were. But yeah, again, if you want something it's always, I find it very laid back. It's a very laid back music, very reflective, very reflective album. And again, coming in, going from Japan were basically a pop band that had, ideas above their station. And then coming to this, again, it shows a maturity, and it's also, I guess, it must have blindsided people at the time, because I imagine that they were expecting something a bit more electronic, maybe a bit more synthesizer led, and you got this, which is, like I say, it's jazz, it's ambient, it's pop, it's all manner of things. It's and there's a great depth to it. And I like just putting it on and just drifting off. I like it's a good drifter. Again, I do that with a lot of Sylvian stuff. It's it's not stuff that you get up and boogie to. Sometimes I putting out one of his albums on and read. I do other things. It's one of those records. I don't know if I'm being disrespectful, but that's the kind of record this is, and it takes you to a different place. And very, very experimental for the time, I think. Very brave record to bring out as your solo work, your first solo work. So yeah, anyway, so like I said, they did reissue it in February 2019. They reissued all of his solo material, all his solo albums, and they changed the artwork. You got some new pictures, and there we go. All very monochromatic, and a bar on the inside. Oh, look. They make it go all colour. Look, there he is, with some trees. Looking a bit like Ricky Gervais there. And it's just on your thick black vinyl. And we all love it, thick black and 12 inches here, don't we? And it has got a download code card as well, so that's nice. But yeah, it's almost like a deluxe. They've done like a deluxe edition, nice big spine on it. So yeah, though some people probably upset that they altered the artwork, they did that with Gone to Earth as well. So yeah, definitely one to check out. But yeah, it's an interesting work. Thank you for watching. I've been talking about David Sylvian's debut album, Brilliant Trees, released back in 1984. And yeah, thank you for watching. There's only one more thing left to say. By now you should know what that is, and I've just hit the tambourine. That's PROG on. That's right, PROG on.